Hey, how you doing, guys? This is part two of Mob Tales with Nick Christophers. For people that didn't see the last one, I left off about a story about this guy, Ernie Kanakis. I'm going to be talking about the Greek mob, Italian mob, Irish mob, Albanian. I'm going to go all over the place to give you guys something different than what you typically watch. Now, today's story is about these guys called the Prokos brothers. The Prokos brothers, Chris mainly, Chris Prokos, because I'm wearing this attire today, I was thinking Florida. I'm thinking, hey, that might be interesting. Now, Chris Prokos was located in the Florida area, South Florida, Miami, so forth. What he was, him and his brother ran gambling dens in the area, and they kicked up to the Traficantes, Santa Traficante. And one time, Chris was around the neighborhood in Florida, and this one reporter, his name was Henry Mesnick, who actually wrote a book about the wise guys in Florida. And an interesting story. He was monitoring Prokos's movements back in the late 70s, 80s. And one time, he was in an elevator at a hotel, and Prokos actually walked into the elevator as he was in the elevator, which is pretty bizarre and a little scary. Here's a mobster standing right next to you that you've been monitoring, and you don't know if he knows if he knows that you're following him. So it was a kind of uncomfortable situation for Mesnick, and they had a little conversation in the elevator, believe it or not. And towards the end, when Prokos got out of wherever floor he was getting out of, Henry pretended that he was getting off the same floor, that he made a mistake, rather, excuse me. And Prokos looked at him. He's like, "Where are you going?" And he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. Got off the wrong floor." So Mesnick was kind of nervous at that point, obviously, because Prokos, that floor, was one of Prokos' fronts. So it was a little bit of a nervous situation. Prokos eventually, him and his brother, like I said, ran a lot of gambling establishments, restaurants, in clubs, in Miami, in the South Florida area. And after Mesnick met him at that hotel, a little bit a while later, Prokos was going to a certain location, which is where they did some of their business. So Prokos pulled into this place. As he was pulling in rather, a bunch of marshals showed up and arrested him. Mesnick, who was following Prokos, his movements, saw the whole thing go down. He was on a parkway and saw everything happen, which is pretty crazy. Mesnick didn't get involved with the investigation or nothing. He was just writing a book. But the fact that here is a guy who was a couple of steps away from where this whole thing went down, pretty interesting. Now, Prokos brothers kind of faded from the scene late towards 80s. Prokos actually got arrested, I think, a little while later and lost some of his power, obviously. And that is something that a lot of people don't know about. That a lot of guys, lower edge guys, that were involved in the life. You hear the names, the Gottis, the Giacalonis, the Gravanos, and all these other guys, but you never hear about the lower edge guys. So I'm going to be talking a lot about those kind of people. Stories you don't usually hear about, or you don't know about, and things that I think would be of interest to you. So in the Florida area, outside of the Prokos brothers, there was other crews that worked out there that were Greek, or in Irish and Italian and Albanian. As we know about my friend Johnny Alight. Johnny Alight, who actually did a book called Prison Rules, did a lot of work in Florida, ran a lot of nightclubs down there. And he lost a little bit of business after he got extradited. But that's another story. So before I even get into that one, we'll talk more about it another time. Thanks for coming down. Hope you enjoy the show. And please check in.